It's December the 15th, a Sunday. Must be 20 past 4. And I was thinking of, because we're getting near to Christmas, and actually today we put the Christmas tree up. And put some lights and things. And so it's natural to be reminded of something from the past. And I was thinking of a Christmas many decades ago. It must have been decades ago, because we had sheets of what we euphemistically called beauty board. It was like paneling, wood paneling, and we had sheets of this stuff, big kind of square, rectangular maybe sheets, in the sitting room, piled up against the wall. I always remember that Christmas because of that. Because, don't ask me why, but looking at these wood paneling ready to go up on the wall, I used to count down how long it was to Christmas, and I'm sure I was counting down weeks before. I don't know what age I'm talking about here. Possibly 14, maybe 15, something like that. And I was just thinking to myself, it's amazing how much excitement and anticipation I put into Christmas. There was something about the television, I think, as well, which added to it. And then we used to move the TV into the sitting room, which was kind of a big deal at the time. But it was also getting the TV guide and having those 2 weeks to go through day by day, 14 days. And there was always something coming on TV which was something to look forward to. And even I struggled to get my head around a time when something was on TV. You may either never have seen it before, but as far as you were concerned at the time, you may never see it again. Someone said that there was a woman being interviewed. She's an old lady, and she was talking about going to see movies in the 1940s. Humphrey Bogart and Spencer Tracy, E.G. Robinson, Jimmy Cagney. Is it Jimmy Cagney? And she was saying, once we'd see the movie, as far as you were concerned, you were never going to see the movie again. Ever. This was maybe before TV was a thing. Isn't it amazing to think that there was a time when, I'm going off the point a bit, but there was a time in people's consciousness when they would see a movie and then they would think that that's it, you've had the experience, and there was no awareness or consciousness or thoughts that a movie could be rewatched, unless you went to see it in the cinema the next day. But Christmas back in the 70s was like that in that respect. If Jaws came on, or The Guns of the Magnificent Seven, or Star Wars, and even though I wasn't really into those movies, as far as you were concerned, it might be your once in a lifetime almost chance to see the thing. So there was great excitement over that. But it's still hard. I guess we can never really compare with ourselves at going from where I am now to back, from the age of 59 back to the age of 14. You are really so different. There's a certain core mechanics, I guess, are the same, will always be the same, but I could never generate that kind of excitement now. Even if I'm getting something that is interesting to me as an adult, like a DJ Pro flying drone or a top level pro Oculus 360 degree glasses, you know. But just the everything had an effect, you know. The Christmas lights, the Andy Williams stuff. It seemed, all of it seemed so much more stronger. There's a couple of people coming down the path, so I'm going to pause when we get close to them. Tuco has seen them. Yeah, maybe I could just stop here. So we went into town, we had a coffee, and Flo's going to yoga to do a special meditation with her class on this Sunday, and I'm going to maybe have a look at tidying up my room. Adios. Hello, it's 4 o'clock. It's 16th of December, and the sun is low in the sky again. Today was the day I had my injection in my eye. I had it done at around 12:30 this morning. And I was just saying to myself that discomfort lasted till around 3:30. I'm not saying my eye feels perfect now, but it feels a lot more normal than it did. It is kind of 3 hours of discomfort, because you have a lot of stuff put in your eye when you're there, and then the actual injection itself is pretty fast and not really too bad. It's what happens after, I guess, is maybe the worst part. That's when, like I was saying, it's like a shampoo in your eye, but you just have to live with it. You can't kind of just wash it out. It's kind of that stinging, irritating feeling. And then the eye itself looks pretty bad. It's completely red, which makes me wonder how good is this if you needed this thing every couple of months. Can't imagine. I mean, there has to be some side effects, because your eye can't enjoy having a needle stuck in it every couple of months and going through all this stuff. I know the end result is hopefully good, and but it's like you're trying to fix one problem, but you may cause 3 other problems in the process. Intuitively, not even intuitively, it's kind of common sense, I know that my eye just does not like this process. Neither do I. I have to say, I can't imagine having to consider having something like this done every 3 months for the rest of my life. I mean, who knows? People get used to all kinds of things. Like I say, perhaps the more often you have it done, and you know exactly what to expect. I'd forgotten about the discomfort, but I don't think I'll forget about it. If I had this done again, I'd be preparing myself for 3 hours of irritation. But at least it's done for now, and I've got some respite. I've got an IRM scan Friday, so perhaps not too much respite, but when that's done and hopefully it'll be clear, then maybe I can relax for a couple of months without thinking of any hospital stuff. Thank God it's just me. Thank God it wasn't Flo as well. So yeah, it is a relief to have that out of the way. Tuco's gone flying on ahead of me, and there's somebody coming. About to hear Tuco bark now in a minute. I can't see if there's a dog with these two people walking. I don't care. What else? Oh, there is the good news about Bitcoin. Last night at 1:30 on the early morning on the 16th, Bitcoin went over 100,000 euros for the first time. That's euros, not dollars. So that was something. That was really something. There was a time a couple of years ago when people said Bitcoin would go past 100,000, you would have not necessarily believed it. But now it's a fact, it has. So when someone says it'll go to 200,000, who knows? Maybe I'll pause for a second. Let me just pause here for a minute. This is the third entry, and we're getting this Friday will be the 20th of December. We put our Christmas tree up yesterday. Yeah, I don't think I've got much else to say. I guess these things are just a case of putting in, like I've probably said 100 times already now, some kind of event during this time that will, when you listen back, you may have forgotten, and you'll think, oh yes, of course. Oops, it is very mucky still. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. We have some forms to fill out to claim back money for the journey to X. It's part of the medical reimbursement. Maybe I could have a look at that. Did lots of shopping in Carrefour when we came back. It was quite difficult because my eye was pretty bad when you're trying to go around and do shopping and your eye is at you. But we're well stocked up on everything. A bit further to go. What else to say? I don't think my mind is kind of blank. I'm a little, I was going to say I'm a little apprehensive about finding things to do this week, because I did have kind of paperwork last week, like checks to send out and this and that. And this week I don't have as many, if any, things to do. Tuco, let's go back. Go on. And just that thought made me realize how quickly something comes in to fill the space that's been left by getting rid of one thing. Like, if this was yesterday or the day before, my mind would be on having the injection in my eye. That would be that would be the note stuck on the board, you know, for the moment. And as soon as that goes away, and it's a little too far to the IRM scan, so my mind is saying, well, we have to put something on the board here. We can't let him have nothing to be kind of, thinking about. And so, sure enough, the only thing it can come up with is, maybe you're going to get depressed during the week because you won't be able to find stuff to do. And that's going to lead you to some kind of anxiety and worry about work, because you might have to start filling out more CVs and doing stuff you don't want to do. And, so that jumps in immediately where there's a bit of space. I think the biggest help when things like that happen is, this is all very commonsensical, straightforward stuff. It's just to kind of take things in little blocks of time. So you say to yourself, well, I don't know what the week's going to be like. All I've got to think about is this afternoon. Let's say, it's 4:30, the sun's going down. What's on the agenda for the next hour or two? Flo's going to do yoga. So I may cook something. I may do some pasta this evening. And, kind of that's it. And I may have a look at the forms that Flo has. I may just quietly go through them with my phone and translate them, maybe put together what I need. And so that's the way you look at it, You think, well, that's all I'm concentrating on is this afternoon and this evening. And tomorrow is tomorrow, and we can think about that tomorrow. That always helps. If we don't go into the future, we don't worry about what we'll do tomorrow or the next day, because it's pointless. He's barking right now. I think he's barking at a cow. And we don't worry, obviously, about yesterday or last week. We just take it. We just concentrate on the coming few hours. That's really the best way to work. The best way to deal with things. You just focus on the coming few hours. Have you got stuff to do for the coming few hours? And, even if you don't, well, then you can sit down and relax for the coming few hours. And something will come to you. That's the way it is. How long is that? 12 minutes and 12 seconds. What else? This time last year, Flo was away. And what is it? If it's the 20th, this Friday, and I believe it was the 22nd when I left last year, would have been the Sunday coming. So this may well have been the moment that I had my Iowa Walkman, and I may have been going through my tapes at this very point in time last year. I'm going to remember, I know this is going into the future, and I did say don't bother, but this is kind of a slightly different thing. When it gets to the 8th of January, I will think back with a kind of sense of relief, because I think, this time last year you spent all day standing in the Connemara trying to contact Vincent, not being able to speak much French and being kind of nervous and anxious about that, and then having to wait for the EDF people, and having your fridge and freezer and all the stuff thawing out, and all the equipment not working because of the electrical problem. And I think that was last year, but it's not going to happen this year. And I'll be thinking how nice it is not to have the responsibility of a business and all the things that can go wrong with it, to be kind of done with that. It's going to, when I think of that particular incident, there really is a palpable sense of relief that we don't own a place in the middle of Orzon that you have to keep an eye on. Now it doesn't matter what happens to that place anymore. It's none of our business. It's not our business. It literally is somebody else's business. And that's a nice feeling. I should sign off. I'm getting close to the road. It's kind of saying to Martina. I was kind of saying to Flo, I'm going to miss these cows when they go. Got used to them. They have a kind of calming effect. Somehow, cows. The bells are going all the time, but you don't really. It doesn't bother you. And there's just something nice about having cows in front of your house.